So we made it inside the brewery, and I'm with Kevin, who is a sales manager around here, and he's going to walk us around the brewery and show us the process of how it works. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, Dave. Good to see you again.
Good. So these are the kettles, actually, that you actually cook the beer in.
Now,
is that the right word to say?
That's correct, yeah. So there's two kettles in here that you'll see, and these came from Germany, and they make about probably 140 hectoliters of beer, which would be probably about 1,500 24 packs.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
or you can convert them into swimming pools
now,
or whatever.
Is there a reason why they're copper?
Yes, so these kettles came out of Germany,
right.
And nowadays it's very hard to get a copper kettle. And what happens with the copper kettle, if you think about your cooking pots on your stove, it's nice and even heat. And so with stainless steel you get cold spots in all of your cooking. So copper allows the beer to roll a bit and allows to give you even heat so that there's no cold spots in the beer, and it cooks to the right temperature, and it brings out all the flavors and the hops and the malts and whatnot.
So now you load it through these chutes.
Yeah, so what happens is that the brewers, when the kettles are active, they will, it's like making soup at home, homemade soup. And so they'll start with this kettle here, and they will start to, depending on the beer that they're making, an ale or a lager, and which is the yeast. There's going to be a difference in the yeast. And lager is a German word. It means to store, so you lager your beer. When we show you a little bit later on in the brewing process, a lager will store for about 5 weeks, where an ale will store for 3 weeks. And ale came from the Nordic folks, and it was women who were the brewers in those days, and it was called ole. And so when the Vikings went out and they came back and they conquered, they'd come back to a celebratory drink, and it was called ole, and of course as phonetics and language changed, it became ale. And but the interesting part is when they did come back, and the people that they had captured and killed and whatnot, they would, you heard the expression of skull, cheers.
Yeah, I've heard that
they
many
would
times.
take their skulls and they'd cut them off and pour the oil in, and away they went and partied off to the next countries they conquered.
So I'm not going to say skull anymore.
Well, you can. It's just hopefully I'm not around with you.
Interesting. So now we've got the brew going, right?
That's correct.
How long do we brew it for?
Well, the brewing will take about 6 or 8 hours, depending on what type of liquid that they're putting down. And so once they get all their ingredients, it almost looks like porridge. It becomes a mash. And then it'll go from this kettle to the lauter tun here, and the liquid inside it will get drained through very, very fine grates. And so you're left with liquid, and then the mash or the porridge on the top is left on the top, and then it's scooped off and then sent away. And it gets the interesting thing about what we call the spent grains. In the old days, there used to be what's called brewer's bread, and so you would send your kids down to the brewery to get a little bucket of draft beer and take some of the brewer's yeast away with you and some of the brewer's spent grains and start making bread with it.
Interesting.
And so nowadays, most of the spent grains will get sent to the cattle farmers or the pig farmers or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we've got the brewed beer. And what's the next step?
So once we've made the recipe, once we've drained out the liquid to get it down to a fine part, we're going to send it to another part of the brewery where we will age that and put it in what are called the aging vessels in the bright beer tanks.
Now that we've got the brew into a liquid, we're going to go and see the aging vessels. So let's go there now.
After you, Dave.
Thanks.